Hello everybody, here we are back at Alex's. We're in his kitchen because it's raining outside, but we wanted to make sure we covered this because he has a mango that most people won't be able to spell or pronounce. But he said this year when I asked him how his mangoes was, that it was one of the best ones he's had this year.
Yeah.
So, how you doing, Alex?
Doing okay, and excited to try some more, or eat some more mangoes.
Tell us about this amazing mango. How do you pronounce it and what's the name?
So this mango is called Mahmood Vikarabad. I've seen it also spelled or pronounced Mahmooda, but the Vikarabad part I think is consistent. And it is grown in southern or central India. I don't remember which states they grow this in, but it is a Nizam-era mango, meaning that this was a mango that was around before the 20th century. And so it's an old variety in India. It used to be grown commercially there, and there are still some old orchards containing it, but it is no longer planted. So it's kind of one of those cultivars that maybe is a little at risk, if you will, because it fell out of favor commercially and so is no longer being propagated on a major scale that I'm aware of. So I'm not sure when this variety was introduced to South Florida. It might have been a very long time ago because they did introduce a lot of varieties from South India back in the turn of the 19th, 20th century. So it's possible they introduced it a very long time ago. I'm not sure, or if it was a more recent introduction. But at any rate, we had read in literature about this mango that it was considered a very high quality fruit in India. Okay, so we thought, well, you know, it's probably really good, but we don't know whether it will perform well here, whether it will fruit here, how it will handle disease, whether it will ripen properly is a big issue with mangoes from India grown in South Florida's soil and climate. So we planted one. I don't know, it must have been in 2018, I think. We got a little grafted tree of it. And we planted it. Last year, I think it sent out one flower spike and didn't hold on to anything. This year, I wasn't really sure what it was going to do. My expectations for mangoes from India aren't very high here, so I wasn't sure whether this little tree was really, I knew it was big enough to hold on to some fruit, but I wasn't sure that it would crop this year. Well, sure enough, it flowered and set some mangoes and held on to the mangoes. So we were really excited, and fortunately it held on to most of its fruit. The fruit did not come out very big, kind of small. They don't get any red or pink blush or even orange. They just turn kind of a yellow color. So here, this is an example. I did have maybe one or two that were bigger than this, and it is a young tree. So this is not necessarily representative of the ultimate size of this fruit. It could be that it will get larger when the tree gets bigger, and that's common with mangoes. The first fruits that a young tree produces are often undersized. So we'll see what it looks like in the future and whether the fruit size up a little better than this. But I didn't know what this mango tasted like. I knew that there was good reports on its flavor, and that it was pretty highly regarded over there in India by the people that grow it there. But over here, there wasn't anybody that I knew that had tried it other than Gary Zill, and he told me it was really good, but didn't describe the flavor. And finally, we tried the first ripe one and couldn't believe it. It was just amazing how this mango tasted, and it was hard to describe. I've had a number of Indian mangoes this year that didn't taste like the flavor I would traditionally associate with Indian mangoes. This mango is probably, I say probably, a mango that would fall under our West Indian category if we're really trying to nail it down. But it's tricky. When you try it, you'll see what I mean, Paul. It's definitely got a kind of unique flavor and has definitely a strong subacid component to it. So you'll have to try it and see what you think.
Okay, how's the disease resistance? Do you know?
It's too early to say. I mean, I'm always skeptical of Indian mangoes with disease resistance. I do know that I didn't see any bacterial spot on the fruit, but it's a little tree, first time fruiting. It's way.
How big was it when you planted it?
Oh, it was a little 1 gallon plant. Yeah.
Where'd you get the tree?
The budwood came from the USDA.
Okay.
So that's where the originate was. But anyway, it hasn't been like propagated on a major scale. Now we did graft some of these for people that had requested it, just because they were interested in collecting them or whatever. I've distributed very little budwood from that tree because it hasn't been large enough to collect much budwood from until recently. So, and I'm getting requests for it, but I go out and check this little plant and there's not a lot. It's not a big tree, you know, it's like that right now. It's big enough to hold on to some fruit, but not big enough to get large quantities of budwood from yet. But we can graft trees off of it at this point, which is great. So anyway, so we'll try it.
All right, looking forward to this. And Alex says this was one of his best tasting mangoes this year, and he has amazing mangoes here, so that's saying a lot.
Well, I hope this one is a good example, so let's hope so.
And I'm going to put the description below the video from Alex's website. He describes all these different mangoes, so it's a yellow looking mango.
Yeah, so you can see the contrast between this and Giselle, which has a very dark colored flesh. This is more of a light colored flesh. Okay. All right. So
this looks more like the one I tasted that time at that I said was Eastern.
Give it a second to hit you.
Is that right?
It is. It's got a sub-acid component, like I was telling you. That makes you think it's underripe, but it's not. It's it's got a nice zing to it.
What would you compare that to taste-wise to the common mangoes you've tasted?
I don't know. I don't know what to compare this fruit to. It's different, but it's not the traditional Indian flavor, but there is hints of it in there. So anyway,
wow, that was very interesting.
yeah, the sub-acidity is strong in this one. So people that don't like acidity at all aren't going to care. You're probably the same type of people that don't like the sweet tart mango, Paul, but I don't know, because they find it a little bit too much. But I'll try another piece here.
And tell us the name of this again.
Mahmood Vikarabad.
It's very yellow.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of some of the classic sub-acid flavored mangoes, like Zil 80, or mangoes that are descended from that. It does have a little bit of that classic sub-acid flavor. Maybe I would be better describing it as that after trying that one. Remember, I haven't eaten too many of these. I've only eaten a couple.
No, that was nice.
Yeah, so definitely very different from the Giselle. So.
Yes, and you have them here. You'll have budwood this year or next year because the tree was smaller, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much budwood we'll have this year, but certainly next year the tree will grow a little bit, and we're definitely going to produce more.
I think people are going to love that one,
yeah.
Especially people that like those type of mangoes.
Yeah, people that like that, the flavor that you find in mangoes like Zilady or Fruit Punch or whatever. And I'm drawing a blank on some of the other ones that fall into that group. They're going to like that mango a lot too. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, go check out the link below the video and check this mango out, and definitely one to explore. Thank you so much for tasting it and letting us try it.
Yeah.
All right.